There's an ancient underground city in Turkey that's capable of housing 20,000 people. Derinkuyu is located in central Anatolia and was rediscovered in the 1960s by a man looking for a chicken. It's the biggest underground city on the planet and was designed to hide the population from their enemies. Derinkuyu is located 280 feet underground and is a giant cave network covering an incredible 18 levels, and it goes on for hundreds of miles. The city had everything you'd need: accommodations, schools, along with essential supplies like food and wine. But who built Derinkuyu? No one knows for sure. Some think the city dates back to the 8th century BC and the time of the Phrygians, who arrived in the area we know as Turkey today in approximately 1200 BC. The name Derinkuyu translates as deep well. While I describe this place as ancient, it isn't actually as old as you'd think. It was still in use as recently as 1923, 40 years before it was rediscovered. Fun fact, the above-ground area of Derinkuyu is also pretty amazing. Colorful volcanic structures known as fairy chimneys mark the spot where the city is located. Because it's an underground city, it doesn't have any skyscrapers, so these are the closest thing. Human beings may be surface dwellers, but there's a long and interesting history of people living underground, safely hidden away deep inside the earth. Some of these subterranean locations are bizarre, some are beautiful. Whatever they look like, they provide shelter and a whole lot more. You just won't believe what's going on beneath your feet. From the historical to the hysterical, here are some of the wildest examples of amazing underground living spaces. Fun fact, in China, there's an underground city that can hold 1 million people. Xia Cheng is located in the country's capital of Beijing, and until fairly recently, it was a tourist attraction. Xia Cheng translates as either underground city or dungeon, depending on who you ask. And while the doorway to access the city looks quite ordinary, it's anything but. The catacombs you access through this door run for over 1,000 miles. The Chinese built the city between 1969 and 1979, during the Cold War. While China and Russia are both communist countries and they both hated the West, they couldn't agree on the best approach to hate the West together. So they had a bit of a falling out and prepared for a nuclear war individually. China chose to build underground cities. Another name for Xia Cheng is the Underground Great Wall, meaning it's kind of a subterranean version of China's most famous landmark. And what was down there? The place was designed to withstand a nuclear strike, so it was totally self-contained. And you would find a lot of the things you might find in Beijing. From restaurants to theaters, they also grew mushrooms, which were perfect because they don't need any sunlight. Xia Cheng has been closed to the public since 2008, and the closures were reportedly for renovations, but these must be some of the biggest renovations of all time because the city is still closed to tourists today. Fun fact, one of the strangest things you'll find in Xia Cheng is a skating rink. Apparently, roller skating is a great way to take your mind off of nuclear war. Too much salt will kill you, but not if you travel to the Wieliczka salt mine near the city of Krakow in southern Poland. Believe it or not, the whole place is sculpted from grey rock salt under the ground. It reaches down 1,073 feet and consists of tunnels and chambers which go on for about 152 miles, and it has multiple levels. The mine is described as a labyrinth, not somewhere you'd want to get lost on your own. The Zupi Krakowski Company first started mining salt there in the 13th century, and the mining carried on all the way through to 1996. And the salty atmosphere has preserved a lot of the equipment they used to mine salt. Not so fun fact, mining was punishing work, especially for the horses. These poor animals had to work the treadmills, and many of them worked until they died. Inside the Wieliczka salt mines, you'll find 4 churches and a couple chandeliers. And over the years, a number of concerts have been held inside the mine. There are also various health benefits associated with this extraordinary and unique underground city. For example, the microclimate there is reportedly very good for respiratory conditions, and there's also a substance called Wieliczka brine, which is great for your skin. Coober Pedy is a town that's located both underground and down under, and it looks like something out of Mad Max. It sits at the northern end of southern Australia, and approximately 2,500 people still live there today. You'll know you're there when you see piles of old earth and white pipes. The pipes come from mining activity in the area, but they also provide ventilation to the homes below. Residents of Coober Pedy reportedly live between 8 and 22 feet below ground. There's a town above ground too, but it's kind of a front. You go into a building, and then from there you go down some stairs into the underground part of town where most people live. Visitors to the town can stay in underground hotels and enjoy refreshments in the bars. This place is basically a regular town, only everyone lives in a man-made sandstone cave. The town was founded in 1915, and Coober Pedy is an indigenous name that translates as white man in a hole. Those men were miners who were digging for opal as they still do today. Opal is referred to as the gem of the outback, and Coober Pedy is known as the opal capital of the world. 85% of the planet's opals come from this area. Fun fact: you can save a fortune on heating and air conditioning by living underground in Coober Pedy. At this level, the temperature stays between 66 and 77 degrees. Topside, it's a different story, with a soul-crushing heat of 125 degrees in the daytime. Living underground in amazing spaces is more normal than you'd think. Civilizations have been doing it for centuries, so all these people who are doing it now are just following in the footsteps of their ancestors. It may not be for everyone, but in these increasingly crazy times, it could be seen as an attractive option. Accommodation-wise, underground places can be highly affordable. Whether you're looking for a health fix or you want to get away from the heat, underground locations like these are a reminder not everything cool happens on the street.